Hi, good morning guys. Welcome back to the channel. Back on the M50B30 stroker this morning. If you watched the previous episode, you would have seen I was struggling to get the diagnostics to connect to the ECU to read any of the codes. If you watched my short during the week, you would have seen that I've got that sorted now. Basically, the S gauge was constantly running live data, so I just couldn't connect while the S gauge was connected. I sent a message to Soric or Magic, the guy who sent me the S gauge, and just asked him if there was any issues he knew, and straight away he just told me I needed to put the S gauge into boot mode, basically turn the S gauge off, and then I could run diagnostics. So I was able to run diagnostics. I had a few codes, coil pack and resistor in the coil pack loom, and also a lambda sensor number 2. So changed all of them. All codes are cleared now. There's no codes on the ECU that would make the engine run bad in any way. However, it's still not right. I took it for a test drive around the estate on Thursday afternoon after clearing all the codes, and it still feels lumpy down low. So there's definitely something wrong with it. As I said, there's no codes on it that would make it run bad. So it's obviously engine wise. So I need to have a look at that this morning. So I'm going to compression test it, see what the compression test results are. I've always been a bit skeptical on whether the rings are any good. As I said, I just put the M54 pistons in straight from the old M54 block straight into this M51 without changing the rings. Basically to save money, because I was building it on a budget to see how cheap I could build it. So that was probably a mistake. I probably should have put rings in it while I had it out. However, I'll do the compression test on it now, see what the results are, and we will go from there. Okay, so just connected up another battery on jump leads. It is a good battery in the car, it's fully charged, but just to make sure it doesn't run down on power while you're cranking it, just connect up another battery. I've also removed the fuel pump fuse as well, just so it's not pumping fuel into the cylinders. All spark plugs and coil plaques are removed. So starter number 1. And, so I've just connected the compression tester up. I'm going to crank the car over now and see what compression cylinder 1 makes. Okay, so what's that, 155? Yeah, so 155 on cylinder 1, which is a bit lower than I would have expected, based on other M52s, a compression test. However, check the rest of the cylinders, providing they're all within 10% of each other, that should be fine. So, and it is a M50 block and a stroker, so I'm not sure what the compression should be. So cylinder 2, 155 as well. And this is a dry test, engine's cold. I haven't put any oil in the cylinders or anything like that, so yeah, another 155. Let's try cylinder 3. So slightly under 155, only a touch, so probably 154. Cylinder 4. Cylinder 5 is 160. And 160 on cylinder 6. So compression is pretty much the same across them all. Lowest one is 153, 54. Highest one, 160, 165. As I said, that's a dry test on a cold engine. I'll drop a small bit of oil into the cylinders now and see if that changes, see if it goes up, by how much. Have a quick look. So I'm just going to have another look at cylinder 1. Just do a wet test on it, put a small bit of oil into the cylinder, just to see how much it increases by. Alright, so not a great sign. See that? Cylinder number 1, 195. It's gone up 45 psi with some oil in the cylinder. So that suggests this probably rings, and 150 is probably too low for what they should be. Cylinder 2 are the same. That's gone up another 45 psi as well, back up to 195. I'll do the other cylinders, see what they are, and I'll come back to you after that. Okay, so that's it for today. Compression test results increased quite a bit on a wet test. Dry test was like 155 across pretty much all the cylinders, and then a wet test increased it to 200, 210, 215. So quite a big increase with an oil in the cylinders, which would suggest the rings are gone. Rings are worn anyway. And obviously I've got blue smoke, I've got excessive crankcase blow by, and with the kind of the running issue as well, would all suggest that it's bad rings. Everything else on the engine is good, and it's the only thing I didn't do when I built it was put new rings in it. So my own fault on trying to save money while building it, but I'll have a look at it again in the future. I'm going to take the engine out. I'm going to change plans with the car. I'll take the engine out, put it on an engine stand, and I can go over in the corner of the unit for a bit. In the meantime, I'm going to take my 330 diesel touring. I'm going to strip that down, and I'm going to use the running gear and stick it into the compact, into the E36 compact. You don't see a lot of E36 compact M57 diesels, and they're a really decent engine. They can take decent power and take a lot of abuse. So it'd be nice to see what one of them is like to drift in a compact, nice light shell. I know a guy from Scotland, James Young, he does loads of them and he swears by them. He's got a YouTube channel. I'll stick his link in the description so you can have a look. He's done loads of E36 M57 conversions, and they look really decent. So that's the route I'm going to go down, do something a little bit different. I might make an adapter loom for him as well, like I do for the M54. So yeah, so once again, thanks for watching. It's not the end of the M54B30. As I said, I will put some rings in it, and I have another silver compact that you might have seen in previous episodes, the one I'm doing a cage in. And I'll probably stick the M50B30 into that and maybe turbo it at the same time. But yeah, rings in it first, but that'll be at a later date. So yeah, once again, thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe, all of that stuff, and see you next time.